It's the Underpowered Hour on this week's show. Land Rover is no longer the most stolen car in the UK. The Discovery drives itself. The base model 90 is getting a lot more expensive. And we preview some great cars for sale on Bring a Trailer. And now, here's the show. Welcome to the Underpowered Hour. I'm Steve Beres, mild-mannered television executive by day and Land Rover collector by night. You can find out more about our cars and what we're working on at theberescollection.com or follow us on Instagram at theberescollection. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Ike Goss.
Thank you to everyone joining us today. I'm the steel bumper to Steven's plastic air dam. I'm the dusty bug-encrusted undercarriage of podcasting, Ike Goss. I own and operate Pangolin 4x4 in Springfield, Oregon, where we live and breathe Land Rovers. Check us out online on Facebook, Instagram at Pangolin 4x4. Let's get started.
All right, Ike. Well, after a short absence, as I was in the UK, and hopefully you got that raccoon situation sorted out in the workshop, we're back in action.
Worse than ever, actually.
Oh, no. It's actually made it worse.
Yeah.
Got a... What eats raccoons? You bring some of those in, maybe?
Moose.
Moose? Oh,
yep.
Shit. Yeah, well, now there's a moose infestation. So, yeah.
It's a big problem.
Oh, it is a big problem. Oh, let me tell you. Man, you hit one of those on the freeway, and you are done. That's it.
Yep.
It's the last.
Carnivorous squirrels, too.
Oh, fuck. It's a thing. It's actually a thing. I read an article about the carnivorous squirrels.
Yep.
Oh my God. We go away for 1 week. 1 week. And this is what happens.
You know what they say? Anyways. Squirrels are rats with a PR department.
That's exactly right. They sure are. Well, this news this week, there's quite a bit because we've been away. The first and probably the most exciting in my quest to never own a new Defender 90. I want one so bad, but the reasons for me not to buy one, being they're not practical from a size standpoint or anything really, they've doubled because the current base price, or if you can find one, of a Defender 90 is $60K, which is it's an expensive car. It's a nice car. That's a reasonable starting price. They come a little higher spec than the 110, so you get a little less car for a little more money. But starting with the 26 models, which are coming in now, at least until they sell 100,000 cars from Europe, in which case cut that off. But $115,000 base price for the all-new Land Rover Defender 90.
Yeah, it is almost doubled in price. The base model is gone. Land Rover doesn't have a base model anymore.
Dings. That is a lot of cash. The reason for that primarily is the deletion of the 4 and 6 cylinder motors and the inclusion of only the V8 motor in the 90 now. So that's the only one you can get. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
You can get the base motors in the 110, but not the smaller 90, which you would expect, wouldn't you?
It is a weird configuration. I think the 90s aren't selling great, and it may just be that no one bought a base 90. Maybe people were only buying the V8. I honestly don't know. It's kind of too bad though, because you could there for a minute. You could get a Defender in the ballpark of a Ford Bronco or something like that. A nicely acquainted two-door Ford Bronco. You could get an equivalent Defender. Now, no, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I suppose, with this restriction on the number of cars that they can sell, it's not a volume business and really anyway. It has to be margin business. And so every car counts, and they're going to try and make everyone a special edition, upmarket. So it's further exacerbated this problem.
Yeah, it's too bad because I long for that base model steel-wheeled Defender 90.
Good news is you can probably get a used one.
I think I can, yeah. Although the used ones are going up now, too, because dealers are, marking up the 90s they have right now because why not,
I saw a pretty nice 110, fairly low mileage, like maybe 35 or 40,000 miles for sale. Steel wheels, green. I can't remember the name of the green. It's not willow green. It's something else. Yeah. White roof. It was like $35,000.
Oh, wow, that's not a bad deal at all.
Yeah, seemed pretty reasonable.
That is reasonable.
It's in Portland.
Well, we're waiting for those Octas to start rolling in
You gonna get one?
fashion. I think so. I think we're going to get rid of the Trek 110 and get an
Sick.
Octa. Yeah. Yeah, Justin couldn't say enough nice things about his Octa, and that kind of convinced me that it's he's really beat the shit out of his already. So I think I might have to get an Octa. But
Everybody loves them.
Yeah, they do, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see. But speaking of the venerable Land Rover Jaguar and making more cars, they have been approved to build some new facilities in Wolverhampton. I like the name Wolverhampton. It's like a cross between a Wolverine and the Hamptons, I guess.
It's a fancy weasel.
Yeah, it's a fancy weasel. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. It's a nice looking Wolverhampton you got there.
It's an aggressive fancy weasel.
Yeah, aggressive fancy weasel. But yeah, they're going to build up a new facility there where they will do apparently their electric propulsion manufacturing center.
Now, I had read recently that Land Rover has pushed back their electric vehicle introductions for at least another year. They're kind of going to wait and see situation.
Uh-huh.
I think there was a point at which we were on the precipice of electrification of transportation in a big way, and that has scaled back so significantly.
It's true.
I can't imagine why, but
yeah, it is. It's hard to imagine, but yeah, we have an orange wave, washing over the country that will.
No, the electric Range Rover was pretty much already built. Photos were taken.
They're testing it.
Dates were
dates
were set for its sale, and so on and so forth. And now it's like, nope, we're actually not gonna.
Yeah, maybe not gonna
do that. That's a lot of development dollars to put into a vehicle to not introduce it. I don't think too many people are talking about that either.
No, it of all of the cars, honestly, that I think makes the most sense for electrification, the big full fat Range Rover makes total sense. It's a smoother ride. It gives it, the difference in towing distance is probably not a huge deal for most people with a Range Rover. I think most Range Rover clients aren't making super long journeys. They're
When's the last time you saw a Range Rover towing a trailer?
Right? That's certainly not a new one. I don't know if I've ever seen a new one towing a trailer that's not in marketing videos and stuff. So it's kind of the perfect car, because both the Defender and the Discovery, I guess if anybody still buys those, are much more utility geared, right? Towing and things, people buy them because they tow, and people buy them to go far away from civilization. But the big full fat Range Rover, I don't know how often they're leaving cities, and I don't know how often they are going out into the woods or towing trailers or anything like that. So it makes total sense. That's a great car to get electric. I actually think the Sport would be better to start with,
round town
because
car.
that seems like kind of the target market for the Sport. The Evoque, the Velar, those are probably more targeted at that market. But yeah, it's not going to be anytime soon, even with this new facility now.
It's crazy. It's wild. I mean, Nick Dimbleby was taking pictures of those Range Rovers. Like they were seemed like from an outsider's perspective, pretty much done.
Right.
If you're
100%.
If you're at the point where you're introducing and testing, that's pretty far along.
By the time you've got the Dimbleby on the case, you're ready to roll out some serious business. You don't you don't get him off the bench for anything but closing.
So now it's like all V8s, and now those cars are like indefinitely postponed, right?
Yeah. They've gotten rid of the all of the emissions control hardware on everything. They've just thrown that. They've gone back to the carbureted V8 from the 1980s. So
it's wild. It's like whiplash in the industry. It's like crazy.
I don't know how you plan as a car manufacturer where these things take like a decade to plan out and to make. I don't know how you deal with stuff.
And then
like
now
this.
it's like so different month to month. It's like, oh, now we're not doing electric anymore. Oh, now only 100,000 cars. Now tariffs. Now this. Now that. Oh man. Strong headwinds.
It's as if someone is trying to destroy the automotive industry.
Now there is some good news coming out of Land Rover in the UK. It is official. Land Rover is no longer the most stolen vehicle.
It's huge. Now, what is the most stolen vehicle now? What has overtaken it as the most stolen vehicle?
Apparently, it's the Toyota Hilux.
God damn it. Yet another
Foiled.
Get another Toyota overcoming the... Yeah, well, hey, the Toyota Hilux is an extremely popular car.
Yeah.
And do you think people are stealing them to bring them over here because you can't get them here? Like black market Hiluxes
I suspect they're stealing them because they're easy to steal.
Oh, that's
If I had
probably
to
what it
guess.
is. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Yeah.
Crime of opportunity. But also probably pretty desirable in certain markets. Yeah.
I read an article recently on all of the theft of all these different things that are happening to basically go into containers and get shipped to Russia, because Russia and Iran and all these countries that are under heavy sanctions, and they'll usually go into an adjoining non-sanctioned country and then get kind of smuggled over the border into these sanctioned countries where they can make a huge amount of money on these vehicles and goods and things that can't be imported.
If you've ever seen any film, the Russian guys always drive Range Rovers or
the bad
Defenders.
guys. And so how do they get them right now? They have to.
I think you know.
Yeah. And now they're going to be driving
black market
Toyota Hiluxes. So
Toyota Hiluxes.
So, but in not so great JLR news, unfortunately, JLR has had to reduce their management workforce in the UK.
Middle management
came out this
getting
week.
The axe.
So, yeah, it's tough. I mean, again, to everything we've just said, it's a tough market right now for car manufacturers. I also think there's a lot of obviously uncertainty in Land Rover's plan on a go forward. Jaguar hasn't sold a car, really, a new car. They haven't made a car in close to a year now.
They haven't made a new model, but haven't they been making their old models?
I don't know. I don't exactly know. I know that that at some point their plan is to stop and to just flush out inventory and then go to the new. But I do think they made the last E-Type a little while ago. I know that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the F-Type. They made the last E-Type in like the 60s.
What's your opinion of the F-Type?
I like the F-Type. I had one until just a month ago, maybe. I sold my F-Type. I had the 400 Sport Edition that they only made 400 of, with the 400 horsepower V6 motor in it, and it was awesome. It's a great car, but again, in my quest to actually store my cars, which is a quest that I am failing at desperately, I had to make some room. And the new cars, I go newest to oldest is how I sell cars. So
smart.
No.
Those are the ones that are depreciating the fastest, too.
They are, and I got a great offer on this. Actually, our good friends at Galpin helped me move this on to the next owner, who is absolutely ecstatic about it and has been looking for one for a long time. And the guys down at Galpin have always been real good buddies, and so
it's a pretty good looking car. And
I had a hard top, which is
kind of underrated.
The hard top is much better looking than the soft top. It has an homage to the E-Type's rear door kind of thing, and it is a neat like karmic successor to the E-Type. I think it design cue wise, you can, if you squint, kind of like the Defender, you kind of squint, you can sort of see where they took cues from the original car, and it was great and fast and super fun to drive and all that sort of stuff. But it's a two-seater with absolutely no space for anything in it, and didn't really meet our lifestyle, and so it was time to let it go. My dad drove it for many, many, many years and loved it. And
what did Churro think of the F-Type?
He was never allowed in the F-Type.
Damn it!
It's a dog-free zone.
Dog-free zone. F-Type.
Yeah. Well, he leaves behind an extra dog worth of dog hair everywhere he goes, and so it would have been difficult to clean out of the F-Type. So.
It's too bad.
So much for that. But, well, with any luck, if you are in the market for a new Discovery, and again, I'm not sure who this is, but perhaps this will sweeten the pot for you. Land Rover is showing how the Discovery can drive itself even when a trailer is attached, which, I think Discoveries have always been able to do that. You just leave the handbrake off on a hill, and they will drive themselves, especially with a trailer attached. That's no problem at all. But apparently, Land Rover, in trying to sort of push the envelope on people buying the Discovery, you can now do it with with the little app kind of a thing.
You can drive your Discovery with an app. This is a solution to a problem that I don't believe exists.
I think it's funny that they chose the trailer as the thing. And this is something, to be fair, that Land Rovers, that the Discovery has kind of had for a while, right? This ability to, essentially what you do is you use the little terrain response knob and it will back itself up. It's not really driving itself in the traditional sense as so much as like, you know, you are still sort of pointing the trailer where you want it to go. You're doing some of that sort of stuff. So it will do that. It will you know, it will allow you to back up a trailer into some pretty nifty
this says it's
spots.
an autonomous driving function.
It is
So
autonomous, I guess.
Are you
I don't know.
controlling it with the app, or are you not controlling it with the app?
Well, from what I have heard, it's had the autonomous self backup of trailers and stuff for a long time, but this finally adds I've shown this function for a while where you can get out.
It's called the knob. Where they describe it.
You get out of the car and you can essentially maneuver it with the iPhone app, and it's something they've showed off before, but now in trying to sell more of these things, they're like, hey, how about you just drive it itself?
How many divorces do you think this is going to prevent?
I don't know. That's a great question, though. I know that, you know...
Every time I've been in a campground and there's like some couple that's pulled in after dark, and like the man's backing up the trailer and the woman's directing, and it just inevitably devolves into screaming.
It does, and it is tricky, you know. Especially like we have a really, really short trailer, our little like camp trailer. You know, that suckers. Those are hard to back up. You know, you gotta have some practice, and if you don't do it all the time, it is nice. Our Defender has the autonomous trailer backup, and it's not great. It's pretty shit on the Land Rover. On the F-150, it is incredible. The F-150's ability to autonomously back up a trailer is really remarkable. It uses all the cameras on the F-150 to figure out where the trailer is steering and counter steer it properly. And because it's electric, it's also crazy smooth. But also, Ford has had like trailer tech built into the F-150s for like 50 years, you know, like they're built for that. And, you know, Land Rover's implementation is pretty good. I think it uses some of the autonomous parking stuff and all that sort of stuff to figure it out. It used to be that you had to have a little like QR code on the front of your trailer so that it could track it on the backup camera. It doesn't need to do that anymore, but our Discovery needed that. Now this new upgrade to the Discovery doesn't need that anymore. It apparently uses the camera system as well. So I think we should try it. It also, at one point, they talk about how you can get out of the vehicle if the terrain becomes like unsettling, and just turn your car into an RC car and like drive it through a dangerous situation. Like leave the family in the Discovery, but you get out and you can kind of like navigate. So if it rolls over, you're not injured. I think your family will die, but you'll be okay.
I'm watching the video where they're backing it up, and I can't tell whether he's controlling it with the knob but in the center console or what exactly. He doesn't have his hands on the steering wheel. No, you can't touch the steering wheel. It's interesting. It's an interesting tech. I like it. I think that for those individuals who have tried to, you know, rent a jet ski and then back it down the thing into the water, this is going to make that a lot easier. But if you own a jet ski and you do that all the time, you'll find it's probably easier to do it yourself, because the autonomous backing up is slow.
It's very slow and very conservative.
Yeah.
And I am neither of those things. So
as some of the things in my yard can attest to, Steven, he doesn't care what's behind him when he's backing up.
No, it's true. Now, I will say that is the old yard. I have not run into anything at your new building yet.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't believe that.
Entirely.
You've been there. I think something's been run into.
That's true. It's only a matter of
He doesn't
time.
even get out and look. He just drives off.
I just drive on. It'll be fine.
Tell you what, do not rent a car to Stephen Beres. That's my words of wisdom for the day.
People at the up there in Springfield at the airport rental car place didn't seem to care. They're fine.
Somebody
Eugene
else got
Springfield
blamed for that
rental.
I know
that's
they
right. 100%. Yeah,
the next person got a letter in the mail.
That's exactly right. Well, speaking of the next person getting a letter in the mail, there is one final bit of news, and this is something that is kind of cool. The good people, the fine people at Design and Development Engineering Limited, which is a hard thing to Google, I have to say, because those three words together are not significant. But when you put them together, they point you to
You have to have Land Rover.
Yeah, very significant group of individuals in the UK that make some super cool stuff. I think maybe my favorite thing that they make might be the portal axle, the bolt-on portal axles for the Defender. I've never actually seen one in person.
I think they have made a set. I don't know if they actually sell them,
but they've definitely made a set, and they're really cool. They're really cool, and they're often doing super cool projects like that. They're in the process, for instance, of making a bunch of what'll be, I think, ultimately turnkey parts for electrifying series Defenders. They are series cars and Defenders. They got a lot of cool stuff. They have, thank God, a bunch of replacement parts for the Stage 1 Land Rovers. So if you have
you gotten those yet?
I know I have to. I was talking to him the other day. I
better jump on that.
Oh man, do I ever have to? Yeah. Famously the entire front axle of the Series 3 V8 is not at all standard to anything else ever made by Land Rover.
It's very different.
And so you need special swivel balls and special steering arms and everything. And they make all that stuff for you. So, and at very, very high quality. It is super, super nice, all CNC machined and beautiful looking stuff that will actually allow you to steer your Stage 1 again, which is nice. Because, I have, for some reason, 2 driver's side swivel balls on mine. I don't know why that was. Somebody was just
I think it's because it was converted from right-hand drive to left-hand drive to right-hand drive to
right-hand drive again. So yeah, some people lost some parts in there somewhere, and this is where we are now. But their newest innovation, if you will, in their quest, I think this has, I don't know if this is part of the V8, or I'm sorry, of the electrification process, but they have come up with a new dash panel for your Series 1 Land Rover.
I think this is for a project that they're working on.
Right.
They're working on a Minerva, I think. And I think in the process of doing or redoing or resto-modding this Minerva, this is one of the things that they've done.
And they've got a set of new gauges in it, and gauges that, some gauges the car didn't originally come with, as well as a USB port and some of this sort of stuff, all color matched in the dash. And the gauges are GPS gauges, which is kind of interesting, as opposed to
just one, right? The speedometer?
Yeah, I imagine just the speedometer, yeah. They are a GPS fuel gauge, maybe, I think. It just uses GPS to tell how much fuel is in the tank.
Yeah, where you've been. It's tracking you right now.
Yeah, exactly, and it just does the math. So, but I don't know. What do you think about a GPS gauge in a resto mod or a modern gauge set
I think it's a mixed bag. It's an easy solution. You've got something that's already made, and it's easy to put it into any vehicle and have it work. Right? It is in that way great for the DIY person, right? But, for those people that spend the time to calibrate their speedometers and make custom speedometer cables and gearboxes to reduce the ratios from the transfer case to the differentials to the speedometer head, it's interesting. I find that interesting when people modify the original to suit their application. This one, for the average person, I think is probably a much better solution.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's interesting. I tend to be, as everyone knows, we both are, kind of tend to be more of the replace the old thing with an older thing, but a new older thing, or
a new older thing.
Yeah, fix the, spend an absurd amount of time fixing the old thing so that it works again, which you can do, right? I mean, you can, in a lot of cases, these parts were meant to be, nearly infinitely serviceable, right? Like they will go sort of forever if, like an airplane, you can just keep servicing them. And, that, for some people, that is a great time. That's something that people really enjoy. For other people, that sounds like a waking nightmare.
Yeah, torture. It's torture. So for the average person, they can take the original gauge that might need work and they can huck it, throw it out the window, and they can put this gauge in there and just press a button, hook up some wires, whatever, and it works. It's ready to go. And it doesn't care what tire size you have or transfer case ratio or blah, blah, blah. It just doesn't care. It reads. But it's not going to work in like heavily forested areas or super canyony sort of terrain. It's probably not going to work too good in those conditions. So there's some caveats, but I think it's a good solution for resto-modding a car. Can't say I'm a huge fan of the orange needles.
Oh yeah, I got to get in there. That's the problem. Is some of those ready-made gauges you can't choose the coloring and stuff.
Yeah, the fonts and it's not as charming as it's sort of a generic one-size-fits-all. You can put it on your motorcycle.
Hand
you can put
painted.
it
I'm pretty sure those ones from the 50s are like, they were all hand lettered, and
I think they're silk screened, aren't they?
Or silk screened, maybe.
Yeah, those early ones.
Yeah.
I don't think they have like little gnomes painting the numbers on there, but
maybe they do.
There
was a rumor that the R1200R BMW motorcycle up until like I think the early 2000s had a woman painting the white lines on the tank. Still.
Interesting.
It's just one of the things they did. Maybe.
That's cool.
You never know. No.
Just one person?
One person, yeah.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, that doesn't seem possible.
It's got to be more than one person.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. You never know.
Those earlier BMWs, they were hand pinstriped, and the pinstriper put their initials under the tank. And I had one of those motorcycles,
cool.
and it's kind of a charming touch to have something that's like painted by a real live person.
And I think that was part of the charm of that, because that white line on the BMW tank is super iconic, right?
Oh,
and when they brought that back in the R series motorcycles, it was it was still hand painted by one woman. We'll never know.
I know you can pay extra to get your Ferrari logo painted on your Ferrari,
really? By hand painted.
Yeah. There's some videos of them doing it. It's pretty interesting.
That's awesome.
It's in the oddly satisfying forum on Reddit.
Yeah, you go into the Reddit. Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of oddly satisfying, to wrap up this week's show, two new to us, but two new listings for His Majesty's Land Rover on the old Bring a Trailer.
Bring a Trailer.
In a segment we like to call Things on Bring a Trailer. And so up first, there is what I actually think this is super cool. I missed this one, and I wish I hadn't. Oh, no, it's still going. I can still get it. It ends in 4 days.
You can still purchase this vehicle.
Oh, my God. Well, then, in that case, we're not going to talk about it because I'm going to buy it. No, it is a 300 TDI powered, one of the best power units. If you talk to people, people are saying it's one of the best power units.
Lots of people are saying.
Yeah, lots of people are saying it's the best power unit. 1985 Land Rover 110, and this is a truck bed style, but the best part about this truck is this truck dumps.
It's a dumper.
It's a dump truck. It's a dumper. It's a 110 dumper.
Yeah, handy format. I'm forever using my Land Rover for
dumping?
Yeah, for various yard debris removal.
Yep.
Garbage collection, rock hauling, gravel moving.
Yep.
And
even if you just want to quickly dispatch some passengers in the truck bed.
It has a personalized license plate on it called Tippy.
I know, that's favorite part of it is that it's named Tippy.
It's pretty monochromatic, it's just black and white, but
white, and then it's got a little jug of fuel there in the back. It looks as though it is a working, Land Rover, like it was, it had a job at one point. Mm-hmm. And it's a right-hand drive, which, is sometimes less desirable, but otherwise it looks like it's in pretty good shape,
Give you an opportunity to get it less expensively. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
they show it tipping. So if you got a job to do, maybe this is the working Land Rover for you.
This is the working Land Rover for you, indeed. It's got a nice.
Do you think they'll ever make a utility vehicle like this again?
Man, I just can't imagine how Jerry would allow it to happen. You never know. I mean, stranger things have happened, and it's possible. Mm-hmm. This has flip down sides as well. I don't know if you saw that.
The drop down sides.
Yeah, you can drop all three sides. Plus, it's got a halo, whatever you call those racks, like roof racky over rack thing. And that all comes apart as well. Yeah, ladder rack comes apart, and so it's plywood lined. It looks like at least the sides are, if not the bed as well. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, you could throw a lot of junk in that trunk and then dump away.
Maybe you got a handyman business. Maybe this is the
car for you.
Yeah.
Currently, the bid is an extremely reasonable $5,000 with 4 days left. So once you hear this, 3 days left on the auction. So good luck. Hopefully somebody gets that. And
is this in Georgia or something like this? Has Georgia license plates on
it? Something like that. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, hopefully, hey, if you are the one that wins the bid on Tippy, give us an email. We'll have you on the show.
Sounds like you're going to win.
Maybe I will. That's exactly what I need is another stupid Land Rover.
A dump truck.
Yeah. I don't have a dump truck. I have a fire truck. I don't have a dump truck. So Next up is the 1996 Land Rover Defender 110 300 TDI 5-speed. And what makes this one remarkable is that it is a Camel Trophy car, apparently. It was used in which one? The 97.
Mundo Maya? Is that Mundo Maya?
Yeah, I think that's Mundo Maya, yeah. And it's got some of its kit, not all of it. It's missing a little bit. It's missing sand ladders, which a lot of them are.
You're more of an expert than I am. What is it missing? Missing sand ladders? What else?
Yeah, it's missing sand ladders. It does look like it has its shovel and pickaxe, and it looks like it might have the pickaxe. Hard to say if it has a pickaxe handle. It does. It has the pickaxe handle. It has the axe. It's missing all of its roof crates, so it doesn't have any of that stuff. It looks as though it has the right lights on the roof, and it has its antenna. It has its ham radio antenna, and it's in pretty good shape. It's missing all of the stickers, and
it's missing all the decals. Yeah.
I would hazard a guess that it has been repainted because it doesn't, at least from these photos, and that's really hard to tell, although you can match it to the plaque, and it looks like it's about the same yellow as the plaque, which is not sand glow. It looks like it's the wrong color, like possibly this is too yellow of a yellow.
Hard to tell. Hard to tell.
It's so hard to tell in
photo,
photos,
but
yeah,
it does look like it's a little brighter.
It does,
than
yes.
sand glow. Like if you look at the pictures of a Camel Trophy truck, the decal set typically is a little bit different yellow.
100%, it should be, yeah.
Than the car.
That's right. Yeah, it should be, because the Camel logo is not where the color came from. The color predates any association with Land Rover. The color comes from the Range Rover, and it just sort of happened that the Camel logo was also a yellow, but it is not sand glow yellow. The Camel Trophy logo is a different color yellow.
This one also has some non-Camel accessories, like it's got some bumper protectors and
it does. It's got rock sliders,
axle shafts and other things that are not.
Yeah, as they do,
issue.
They tend to pick up little upgrades and things, if you will, along the way. A lot of it is correct. It's got the right hood tie downs. It's got a super, super rusty shovel, as they all end up having. So it's got a lot of stuff that's correct. The fact that it has the whip aerial for the ham radio on top, that's a pretty rare thing. If that's the actual one, it looks like it is. That's super rare to find. But it doesn't have the roof tire. It doesn't have it doesn't have the roof boxes. Rather, it doesn't have some of that sort of stuff. And yeah, like you said, it's got those little rear bumperlets and things that it never had, and it does definitely have uprated axles, because it's got the non-Land Rover axle caps on it, which is, again, it entirely depends on what you are into, and will it affect the value of the car? Who knows? It does have its Terra Trip. It's got its switchety box, its military style switch box in the middle. Yeah, the switchety box with the switch.
Now we kind of know what this car brought, because the auction's over, right?
Yeah, this one, the auction is over, and it looks like it bid to $49,000, but did not sell for that. There was another Camel Trophy 110 a little while ago, and that one did sell for like 46, I think. So it's interesting, because the two before that last one were in the hundreds. Right?
Yeah, that seems really like a decline in the values.
Yeah, so is it that people just aren't interested? Now, I think, I might be wrong, and I'm going to reach out to Will. I think this 96 is one that Will Hendrick was involved in.
There's a picture of him in the auction.
Oh, okay. Well, then it was.
Yeah.
I didn't look through all the pictures. But was he included in the sale? Do we know?
It doesn't say.
Oh, I feel it would have definitely.
There's a picture of him with the car in the background, and he's like giving a thumbs up. So I don't know how he's involved, but
it does seem to have the sticker. I'm looking at the thing now. The stickers are in the back, so you could put those stickers on. And actually, the picture that with Will giving a thumbs up beside it, it appears to be the right color in that picture.
I think it's been repainted. Yeah.
So yeah, I would say it also now looks like it's been gloss painted as well. Yeah, it's a heavier gloss for sure, but there's lots of pictures of it in its Camel Trophy, doing its Camel Trophy thing. So it's cool. Yeah, it's really cool. Unfortunately, didn't sell, so I don't know if that's something that's going to go back up at some point, or maybe it's been sold privately outside of this auction. But super cool to have a Camel Trophy truck, and really a great community. The people in the UK that run the Camel Trophy Club are awesome, and really a fun bunch to hang out with in the little bit of time that I've gotten to do that. And yeah, it's neat. It's a neat club. If you can get yourself a Camel Trophy truck, it's a fun thing to have.
Yeah, neat. Yeah, there's always something on Bring a Trailer that's interesting, or something a little bit weird that somebody's trying to send down the road. So
yeah. And speaking of Camel Trophy, this of course being the 45th anniversary of Camel Trophy. Doesn't that make you feel old?
Are we going to the reunion?
I really want to. It's at Eastner Castle in the fall, and man, I want to super, super bad. There's also going to hopefully be something here in the U.S. The club here is working on that, and hopefully something to announce there soon. And yeah, so if you can get to a Camel Trophy celebration this year, 45 years, it's a big deal. We all remember watching those Camel Trophy videos in the lobby of Land Rover dealerships. Well, we were waiting for the whatever to get changed in our late model discoveries. So good times. And with that, that's time to wrap this one up, and we'll be back next week with the more exciting Land Rover news and whatever else it is what we do. It's going to be great. Can't wait.
Looking forward to it, man. I will see you on the trail.
All right. See you next week.
Adios.
The Underpowered Hour is produced by Liza Beres, Ike Goss, and me, Steve Beres. Pavel Svardov composed and performed our theme music. Consider supporting the show on Patreon, and if you already do, thank you. Your support makes the show possible. For even more, check out our Instagram or Facebook.